What's up, YouTube? DJ Kryptonite here, speaking boxing and all that jazz. But first, before we get into it, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do whatever. Just trying to grow the channel a little bit. Talking sports, mostly combat sports, boxing primarily. But let's get into it. I'm sure you guys watched the fight last night. All my true boxing fans watched the fight last night, and Canelo. He was Canelo, did what he's supposed to do. He the face of boxing pretty much, so they consider him one of the greatest of this era. So he did what he was supposed to do. He carried the fight up until 11 when he decided, it was time to put him out. He kept the pressure on for 11 rounds, which much like the last, I don't know, 15, 10, anywhere from 12 to 15 fights, I guess. Canelo has been kind of, he's aggressive, moving forward guy. He's more of a slugger now. He can box, but he's a slugger now because he gets in and he plants his feet and he throws punches. That's what he does. I know early on when he was younger, he was a little slicker. He would move a little bit. And he didn't really dictate the pace. A lot of times the fight would come to him, and sometimes he would switch it up and go, moving forward. But for the most part, his last 10 or 12 fights, he's been like slugger type. He's been moving forward, making folks engage him, which works for him because he's a boxer at heart, and not a lot of folks can exchange with him because he has such good movement. His good footwork, good head movement, all of those things. So Canelo is a monster now. So, but since he switched it up to be more of a slugger, yeah, he's pretty rough. So I don't know. I know he can switch it back and forth. He can go between boxer and slugger, that sort of thing. But I think he's more effective actually moving forward, engaging as a slugger. And then when he gets in there and starts to exchange, he's very slick, and his movement as a boxer is just on another level, especially his footwork, because he can throw punches at angles that really last night Plant wasn't ready for, because he was stepped to the side. He was almost using that Tyson type tactic, throwing that left hook to the body. He was stepped to the side of him, almost out of his not right on. He would never go right through the fatal funnel, meaning coming straight ahead. He would almost take that step to the side, throw the left hook to the body, and doubling up on that, which was crazy because Caleb Plant wasn't ready for that angle. So I think once Canelo figured him out in the first couple rounds, he really figured him out in round one, but once he figured him out, those body shots, those hooks to the body from those angles, just odd angles he was hitting them with, Caleb Plant wasn't ready for. He was probably used to a more traditional style of boxing, and Canelo he got that slick style that he hits you in angles that you're just not prepared for. He can come straight ahead, but a lot of times once he comes straight ahead, he's sidestepping more like Tyson type deal, like a true slugger, and he's hitting you from almost to the side of you, catching you with body shots. And ultimately, once you start giving into that body shot and reacting to it, he's coming for the head, and he's a very powerful guy, and he's going to put you out at some point, because once he gets you committing or moving to a certain position, or making calculated moves, once he throws that body shot and he realizes that you're putting your head down or you're dropping your hands, the head game is ridiculous. So once he starts hitting you to the head, it's over. So he did a great job last night. I guess ultimately they want to, folks are going to talk and see what's next. I know people are calling Charlo. Charlo, I don't really get the warm and fuzzies with Charlo. Charlo is not a mover, and I think what's going to ultimately be a great fight for Canelo will be somebody who can move and hit from different angles from the outside, meaning he doesn't actually try to exchange punches with Canelo, because that's a bad idea. So he'll probably need, to make for a good fight like that, it will probably have to be somebody who's a bit slicker, mover, boxer type, not a slugger. Caleb Plant was trying to plant his feet and try to stay in the pocket with him. It's not a good idea. When you stay in the pocket, Canelo is going to take advantage of you. So I don't know. I really don't know if Charlo will be a good fight. I'm sure that's what the public wants. But again, Charlo is kind of he's a boxer. He's a boxer slugger, kinda. He doesn't have great footwork. He's an athletic guy, but he doesn't have great footwork. He lets his hands go. He's a strong guy, but I don't know if he's disciplined enough to really deal with Canelo's boxing ability, because eventually you make mistakes and then Canelo makes you pay. And Charlo is not the most technically or disciplined boxer. And that's what I'm afraid of. So it will probably make for a good fight. I'm not sure. I don't know. Charlo, he lets his emotions get the best of him in the ring sometimes, and then he starts to wing punches. Not sure if he's going to get cracked if he does that. So I don't know. He's a dog, as they say. But, dogs get beat down too. So if you keep calm and let the dog get emotional, then you probably can take advantage of that dog. And I think that's what Canelo's going to do, because Canelo never he never gets too emotional, too far up or down. He just keeps to the game plan and keeps moving, steadily watching your reactions to what he does. And if Charlo starts to respond to some of those body shots, just much like Caleb Plant did. And I'm not comparing Caleb Plant to a Charlo. It's probably no comparison. I think Charlo probably would have put Plant away as well. But Charlo probably would have knocked him out with a right hand from the outside, I would imagine, because Charlo is more of a straight-ahead traditional boxer. So I think it would have probably been like a 1-2 punch, not one of those slick, moving, uppercuts, left hooks type deal that Canelo has in his toolbox. But it would probably just be a straight right, and he probably would have put Caleb Plant out. So it'll probably been the same result with that. But again, I just want to know what your thoughts are on the fight. I think it was a fairly good fight. It was kind of predicted, that eventually Canelo would catch up with him. Yeah, I was surprised that Plant lasted that long, based off the first 3 or 4 rounds. I didn't think he was going to last that long because Alvarez was setting him up for some pretty rough shots, and eventually they caught up with Plant. So anyway, that's all I have on it. It was a great fight, especially if you're a Canelo fan. My thoughts on Canelo if you watch my videos, but he did look good. Nothing was surprising to me of what he did. He did what he's supposed to do. So that's what it is. So again, DJ Kryptonite here, talking combat sports. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that jazz, and we'll be talking soon. Deuces.